Oh, we're live.
Yeah, definitely. We're using new technology.
Hello, everybody. Hello. So, checking in today. I haven't done a live stream in a minute, but we're checking in today to talk some real estate here in the Vegas area. So, over 10 years on YouTube. I've done it every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm joined by two ladies today who have been doing this for longer than I have. So, a lot of you know Laci.
Hello.
Yes, she's been an agent, a realtor here in the Las Vegas area for how many years now?
8. I think I'm going on 8 years.
It's gone
8
by
years.
fast.
I don't know. It feels like a blink. Yeah.
And some of you have probably seen Amber before.
Hi, guys.
Amber's the mortgage guru. She is the mortgage expert.
The guru.
Yeah, with 22 years in the mortgage industry.
Don't age her.
Now, but now I'm really old.
23. Okay, all right, Michael Jordan. We're off to a good start. So 23 years, she's done every loan under the sun, whether it's FHA, whether it's VA, or she's going to talk today about grants that are available for people who are struggling to get their down payment and that sort of thing. So we're live. You guys throw in your comments or throw in your questions and that sort of thing. And between all three of us, whatever questions you have, we should be able to get it answered for looking to move here, looking to buy a place. So whether you're going to buy for yourself or you want to get an investment property, condo, townhome, single family, wherever it is, go for it.
I'm about it. It's been a crazy year with this real estate stuff. Can we talk about that for a minute?
Yeah,
Is that okay? So real estate market's been kind of nuts, and actually why we wanted to do this with you, Amber. You are the expert. You're like the most.
Oh, jeez.
No, she really is. Listen, no pressure, but she really is. She's ranked number 166 in the nation for a reason. Let's just talk about that. And it's just because, inflation is tough right now, and the environment around us, politically as well as just in the news, is things are getting expensive. So what are you seeing when people are calling?
I have more and more people right now calling because they don't have down payment assistance.
Right.
So like most of the time when you do an FHA loan, you're going to need 3.5% down. Conventional, you need at least 3% down. But I'm having more and more people call. They have the credit scores, they have the income, but they don't have down payment.
Right.
And a lot of that's because it's expensive out there. Like it's expensive to live right now.
When's the last time you looked at how much milk is what I want to know. How about you? Do you know how much milk is right now? Oh yeah. Sorry. Never mind.
We're talking a health nut over
I know.
here.
I can't. This guy's getting too
We
lean.
ask those questions.
Too lean and too mean for sure. So because people are needing more down payment assistance and we're trying to really get the word out. So thank you, Jacob, for going live with us today, because we feel like a bigger audience is important to hear that rates and stuff are possibly going to change soon. The Fed's been talking about that, and this is going to pair with that nicely, I think. So
yes, and you guys are looking to buy. This is the thing you've done for how we're doing this. There will be the link down in the description. So there's the form you can fill out that goes right over here to Laci.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I do the videos, I send it off. You guys go, and she's the one who takes you and holds you by the hand with the phone calls, making offers, driving around town, that sort of thing. So I'm the guy on camera, but she's the one who does a lot of the ground level work. And then when it comes to the mortgage side, Amber's the one who takes care of all that. So this is like the team right here.
The dream team. Dream team.
This is a team from start to finish.
Yes.
You guys. So that's why we're all together today to handle all this together for you.
And also we have a phone number scrolling on the bottom of the screen. So if you are interested, even if you're not ready to buy now, 10 years from now, or you just don't even know, text that number. We'll get back to you. We'll get a phone call set up, because we really do like to help people early in the stages of your decision-making process. It's helpful. And I don't know, she's pretty awesome at what she does. And I think I am too. And he helps us meet you. So thanks again, dream team. Right?
I know. And sometimes it's good just to get a game plan. Like people call me all the time and they just don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
There might be blemishes with credit. There might be some things that have happened with assets, income, whatever. Let's just give you a game plan, help you out.
I love that. So Jacob, I was going to ask you, I know that, you're really in tune with what's going on in the world. You're like Mr. Stats. Like you literally are a computer with legs, I think.
Stats.
Yeah. You're just super smart, and you really break down information in a beautiful way for your audience and for anybody that happens to catch you before they know about you. With everything happening in the world, rates are supposed to drop soon, and there's all this discussion of all of that. It absolutely is going to be a trickle down effect of what's going on related to how many houses we actually have available. You threw some numbers at me a minute ago. I was like, okay, I thought I was the real estate professional.
No, I mean, the latest numbers I saw from the Fed when it comes to the amount of houses available as far as inventory here in the Vegas area is just July 2024, just barely over 6,000, like 6,011, something like that. So early in the year, February, if I remember correctly, was the bottom. It was like just over 4,500.
Yeah.
But still,
that's not a lot of houses.
Yeah, we had low inventory before COVID, and we're still low.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's, Vegas, one of the things that's unique about Las Vegas compared to a lot of other places is our proximity to California, particularly Los Angeles, right? LA County is the #1 county that feeds into people moving here because it's about 10 million people who live in LA County. And then on top of that, the nice weather we have, we're not like shoveling snow in the wintertime here
Right.
like you are in Wisconsin or Michigan for
Mhm.
those that live up there. So like, we may slow down here with people moving, but I moved here in December when I moved here. Like,
Yep.
it was cold, but if you're coming from like the Midwest, like this is not cold.
Mhm.
So like, we may slow down at certain times of the year, but not like places that are
Right.
buried in snow. So Vegas is geographically in a unique position
Mhm.
with our market compared to some other places.
Yeah, a lot of people assume when they call us that like they're gonna buy in spring or they're gonna list their house in spring because that's what they do wherever else they live because that's when it's nice out to list a house.
Mhm.
We actually stay busy throughout the entire year. We're in a baby lull right now, and that's the only time every year that it happens. It's like December, January, and then now. And it's because people are going back to school, they're coming back from vacation, all the things, but it doesn't really slow down here. But with that low inventory number, having houses to buy, and a lot of them is important when it comes to big changes in the market. Like, so if the rates are indeed going to fall, which sounds like they are when it comes to an election year and also just what's going on with the Fed, that definitely is going to bring a lot of people off of the fence to start buying right now. So when that happens, then guess what? It gets a lot more competitive for the very few homes that we have to sell. So it can change the market a little bit. So that's why we're excited about sharing some of these programs, which I think we should jump into if you're okay with that.
Well, to give a little more context, that number I said earlier, the 6,000.
Yeah.
Right. So it's about
2 months worth of inventory, which means it would take, if nobody else listed their home, it would take about 2 months for them to be completely gone. And then we have no houses to sell.
but a healthy market is generally considered what?
About 6 months, 4 to 6 months worth of inventory. So we're in the lowest place. We do have new homes and stuff that are outside of those numbers, but they're not tens of thousands of homes. We're still definitely in a range that, we need to be mindful of that when you're coming to buy a house. Like what Amber and I always say is like, try to get out there before the rest of the world actually is brave enough to come and do so as well. Because if you can get into a home before the rates change, you can, look at refinancing or find something that's better for you later, but just get the house before you're competing for it.
It's almost like do it before the rates change and the weather changes.
Yeah.
Because when everybody's smiling because it gets cooler outside, it seems like that more people are buying at that time. That's what it always seems like to me.
Yeah.
So,
but free money is a really great way to kind of get over the hump. A lot of people, down payment is what really is stopping them. Sometimes it's credit score, sometimes it's whatever. Down payment. So can we throw these up on the screen?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do this. You okay with that?
Who just asked what's the best contact number?
It's right down at the bottom of the screen, actually. It's right there at the bottom. If you guys want to text us, that's the easiest way. In the description, though, there's a link. You can also just click that. Either way, we'll get in touch with you for sure and get a meeting set up. Love this. And we will answer your guys' questions. Is that cool? We'll be able to. I'm trying to do some cool technology with Jacob's channel. And I'm nervous that I don't want to mess it up over here. I'm like, is that okay with you, Jacob? So I love it though. So let's look at some of these programs, Amber. I'm going to give you the stage because these are amazing. And I'm actually trying to look at these for myself. So let's go. Let's learn.
No, down payment assistance is amazing. There's more and more programs that are coming out for down payment assistance. And I think that as the time moves forward, we'll start seeing more and more too. So one of the ones that I'll use all the time is called Home is Possible. It's one of the more, one of the ones that are like everybody uses it, but they do have some restrictions on it. So if you could fit the restrictions, they have pretty good rates on these. So you have to be a first-time home buyer, minimum FICO score 640. They have debt ratio restrictions, so I'll have to look at that depending on what your FICO score is. The down payment assistance is between 2 and 5%, and the rate depends on how much you take of the down payment assistance. And then you have to fit under a certain purchase price. So basically, like FHA limits is what you're looking at. And there's definite income limits that apply to this one. So when you're looking for a grant program, I'll always look at your file as a whole. Most of them want to look at household income. So even if like there's 2 people in the household and only one's going on the loan, we're going to look at both people's income. So that's why there's multiple different grants to look at just to see which one you fit into.
Awesome.
Does that all make sense?
Love that. Yeah. I think the other thing to talk about too is a lot of times when you do grant programs, free money, you have to pay a higher rate. And a lot of these are not that, right?
Okay. So what we try to pull for you today, because there's a lot of what we call it free money on this channel, right? So there's a lot of grant money, free money, right? But it's not so free all the time. So a lot of times there's strings attached to it, and it means that rate is higher in order to get that. So today we're trying to look at the ones that have decent rates And then a lot of them, most of them have like restrictions. You have to keep them for a certain specific amount of time, or you have to pay them back if you like sell your house or something like that. So
somebody's actually asking, is this grant for Nevada residents only?
yes, that this grant is for Nevada residents only.
That's good.
If you're in a different state though, there's different grants for every state.
Yes.
So don't think that just like there's most of the time the grants mimic each other in different states. They're just called something different.
And Amber, you're licensed where?
Oh, I was trying to go through the state. Okay. I'm licensed in Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Florida, Oklahoma. My team is also licensed in California, Arizona, in Montana.
Oh my God. You've added like 3 more states since we talked.
I know we
last.
keep
Jeez
trying to add
Louise.
more, and we split it up because then the continuing education isn't so.
Woo! All right, let's do the next one. This is going to be awesome. This one I think is cool. And you put this one together, right? This isn't like its own program. This one's
No,
pieced
because
together.
this is 2 cool programs added in together. So the community program is the conventional program. It's in specific areas. And because it's in specific areas, there's money given to this program to bring your rate down. So like any conventional loan, this rate will blow it away. Like blow it away.
All
So if you
right.
have decent FICO scores, but this one, you only really have to be at 620 or above. We just have to run you through the automated system for conventional. And sometimes they want to see a little bit higher FICO scores. The rate, I can't talk rate on the channel because they change daily, but it's amazing. I priced it this morning and I'm like, dang.
I'm going to put this disclaimer on to ensure that people know that we can't talk about rate. Rates change daily, but we're okay. Yeah.
This is an amazing program, only available in specific areas. But what you could do with this program is there's another, so to make it more beneficial. So this one is 3% down. And then there's a grant in town that's available for anybody that's a minority.
Right.
Right. That's $4,500. It doesn't have a lot of restrictions to it. It's forgivable after 3 years. So the reason why I put these 2 together is because you get the great rate and the $4,500 together.
That's amazing.
So you could still use the $4,500 if you're not a minority, but then there's some income restrictions on that. So
this obviously doesn't have every single detail and every nuance because it does depend on what your situation looks like. So that's all the more reason to reach out and talk to us so that we can chat with you. We're not going to make you run your credit. We're not going to make you do a bunch of things. We can just have a conversation to help you really decide if this is something you want to pursue, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And keep in mind with the credit, like we can talk about credit or we could do a softball on the credit just to give you a game plan. So that way there's no ding on anything.
Yeah. I think a lot of people get nervous about calling because they're afraid you're going to like run their credit and then they have to worry about the bad mark, right? You know a little bit about credit and finance and stuff.
It doesn't last forever though.
Right. Yeah. People get nervous though. I think credit is like this big bad wolf that people are afraid of. And I don't know, man. I just think there's so many nuances and ways to work around it. It's like pretty sexy to me. I don't know. All right, let's go to number 3. This one's really cool too. The 0 down payment. Sorry, let me say that again. 0 down payment.
I use this one a lot. So here's the thing about this grant. It works on FHA loans. So you can get 3.5% or 5%. The difference is the rate. So the rate on the 3.5% is going to be a little cheaper than the 5%. But if you can get stellar concession, you can add a 2-1 buy down to it, a 1-0 buy down to it. So like while we're waiting for rates to dip and you don't have any money, but you don't want to take the higher, like there's this weird middle ground, right? This is a good program because it's going to give you that lower rate for a couple years. And then in between waiting to refinance. Does that make sense? But I use this one all the time because it doesn't have the income restrictions to it. So most of the time when you call about grants, you're going to get, well, you don't qualify because of this or this or this or this. Like there's so many different boxes that you have to fit into to be able to get that grant. This one doesn't have it. So as long as I can get an automated approval in the system, then we can go up to like a 57% debt to income ratio on an FHA loan, which I know that sounds Greek to most people, but that's getting you in a grant when you've been told no before.
Nice.
This is a way to be told yes. And when we add those buy downs that you can put to this, or you can even like buy the rate down further too. So like this one has a lot more wiggle room. Plus I only need a 600 FICO score, which is like no other grant out there.
Wow.
And did I say that there's no income limit?
Yes. This is actually the sexiest one out of the whole. We saved the best for last for sure.
It is the sexiest one. Well, it is the sexiest one, but I'll look at all of them just to see which one has the best rate and which one helps you the most out of them. All of them are kind of sexy.
No, of
But
course,
this
it's
one
free
fits more
money. I
people.
like free money. Who doesn't
Yeah.
like free money?
Mhm.
Some of them, not all of them apply when it comes to like well, let me back up. All of them have the weird nuances, and that's why it's hard for a lot of people to kind of grasp it and understand. It is Greek, by the way. I was like, you lost
When
me
I said
halfway through.
57%, did I lose
I don't
you?
do math. Who's
You
doing
got
math?
it though, right?
Well, it's because he operates differently than I do. Don't shame me. Anyway, all that being
Did I
said,
shame you? I
no,
didn't
I'm
mean to shame
kidding.
you.
No,
I'm
no, no.
Sorry.
So anyway, so really, really good free money programs. I know that a lot of people who reach out to us are genuinely fearful that they're never going to be able to buy a house because they're watching the Las Vegas market kind of lift up and go up. I actually have a slide here I was going to share with everybody, if that's okay. Let me see if I can do it. It just shows our median home price as of July is right at about 500,000 for the listings, but we're selling at about 480, and that's for single family homes. It's showing you right here, we've got 2.2 months worth of effective availability, like we were talking about before, as far as inventory goes. So like a lot of people are looking at this going, wait a minute, Laci, Amber, we were watching your channels 2 years ago and our median home price was nowhere near that. What the heck happened? Everything happened with the rates and COVID, and everybody migrated to Vegas. So we are seeing a lift, but we're still super affordable by comparison to California and all the other places in the world that have already kind of had their boom, right?
Yeah.
So
Vegas has gotten more expensive, but when I laugh when I hear people say, "Oh, it's just like living in California." I'm like,
not even
maybe,
close.
Maybe the Central Valley of California,
Right.
But the cost of living is sure not like living in Los Angeles or the Bay Area.
Right.
I moved here from
Yeah.
California.
Yeah. So you
very-
can speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Far more familiar with than most. So when I
Yeah.
laugh when I hear people say that.
I love it. So I think we've got a few questions. I'm going to kind of roll through and see if we've got any. Please drop it like it's hot in the comment box. Let us know. We definitely want to, help answer your questions while we're live today. Let's see here. Let's see. A lot of people happy to be here because of you, Jacob. Look at you bringing the audience. Okay.
Yeah, we're on live on like 3 different platforms.
I know. This is amazing. I'm super excited. By the way, I asked earlier, how much is milk? Doug Braun says it's $8 a gallon for organic milk in
What?
California. How cute is that? Wow. Thomas Hogan says, hey, Laci, greetings from Ireland. Hello, Thomas. How are you? Oh, here we go. Tyson said, what's the lowest credit score to have when buying a home, just in general?
So it depends on how much you're putting down. So FHA, you can go down to a 540 FICO score with 10% down. You can go up to 580 with 3.5% down. For the grants, you need to have 600 FICO score. So that's the lowest one. VA is usually VA, you can go down to 540 with no down payment. So
Nice.
VA is really cool.
Yeah, VA is pretty
Conventional
amazing.
is the 620.
Awesome. Good question. Thanks, Tyson. Michael Quinones says, can you install a firearm safe in a condo or with an HOA? So does a firearm safe require you to like go into the ground, like, and put it in?
You don't have to.
If it doesn't have to be attached to the foundation of the home, yes, you can install whatever you'd like to put in. Especially if you're the owner, like you're allowed to do.
How big your safe is and how many rifles you got.
Yeah, there's that. Oh yeah, those are those tall ones that are like tall like you. I get.
Oh yeah, some of those
shrunk
do.
by
You do have.
I'm always afraid I'm going to get shoved in one and then never come out. That's just because I'm
Is
small.
that your fear?
No, I have a few fears. That's not it. Nita says Jacob's very informative regarding Vegas in general. Thank you, Nita Applebum. Love you. She's always on our. Thank you. She's always on our lives. Okay, Mexican Fluency says I'm moving to Las Vegas next summer. What's the best contact number? We saw that earlier. Just a quick reminder. I'm going to put it back on the screen. If you want to get in contact with Amber or I, there are absolutely some easy ways to do it, but texting that number is probably the fastest. So let us know. Let's see. There we go. See, and then there's that. I don't speak Spanish though, so I'm trying to learn from him. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, I don't even know. I'm just talking crap about me.
I said, don't worry. He knows.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I can help.
See,
Those in the comment section who speak. Confirm what I said.
Please confirm that he's not talking smack. Matt Smith's asking, can we combine any of the grants that we talked about today or in general?
Matt always asks the great
We love you,
questions.
Matt.
We do.
Thank you for joining us today.
So the first one and the third one, those are specific programs one's by the state, one's by another organization. So those come with the rate. So you can't really combine those ones. The second one though, that we talked about, that community program, that's what I did. I combined two programs together so we can actually layer that one if you qualify for other grants on it.
Awesome.
So
see, expert. This is why we bring her. She brings the brains. He brings the brawn and the brains, and I'm just here working the computer. We're good. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, so we've got Denise, or who's that? Desiree says, I'm a first-time home buyer. I need help with closing costs and down payment assistance. I pay rent at $1,500. Credit is fair, but I've been working consistently for 2.5 years straight. Desiree, call us. Let's talk. I mean, it sounds like your mindset is on the right track, and we just need to kind of work the numbers and put a plan together, right?
Yeah, because keep in mind, a couple of those down payment assistance we talked about pays 3.5%, which is all your down payment, or 5%. So if you need money for some closing costs too, the 5% might be the good one. And sometimes the closing costs can be negotiated into the sale, like by the seller, depending on the house.
Absolutely. Love that. Please give us a call, Desiree. If I don't hear from you, I'm going to be upset. All right. Let's see. We've got one here that says, how do you go? Oh, Desiree again. Sorry. How do you go about the process of getting the grant? Can you talk about your process in general? I think that's scary to some people, like filling out an application and all the things they have to provide.
Well, we can do it two different ways. So so basically you're going to reach out first, and then we're going to go through the process. So a lot of times I'll send over a link where you can fill out an online loan application. And then once I get that, then I can pull it up and we can kind of figure out which grant you fit into, or if you need a game plan, one or the other. Again, remember, this is a judge-free zone. So I'm here to help you to see how. I'm never here to tell you no. So we can do that. Or if you're not comfortable with the online application, we can always go over the application over the phone too, or meet face-to-face, whatever works.
I love that. Oh, this is a good one. How much would one need, Puff and Huff, how much would one need with a 700 credit score to put
How
down
much
on a house?
down?
Probably, yeah.
So, well, it depends on what loan you wanted to go with. So you can do if you're a first-time home buyer, you could do a conventional loan with a 3% down. I would love to put you on that one program we talked about, but that's for specific areas. You can also do a conventional loan that's for anywhere too, with 3% down, or you could do FHA with 3.5% down, but then you can add a grant program onto that too. So
Awesome.
technically you could come in with no money down if you wanted to utilize the grant.
We got some great questions. Keep them coming. This is
Yeah.
awesome. You guys are really cool. J-Dog says, how much down payment to avoid PMI?
To avoid PMI totally, you put down 20% on a conventional loan. FHA, you're never going to avoid PMI. And that's a common thing.
Yeah.
So people will call me all the time and want to take off the PMI off their FHA loans.
Mm-hmm.
FHA loans, you have to wait 11 years for it to fall off.
I don't even think I knew that. 11 years?
Uh-huh.
I thought it just had to reappraise it.
No,
Oh my God. How did I not
that's
know
a
that?
conventional loan that you have to reappraise. The FHA loans, they don't fall off. So FHAs are really good loans because sometimes if your credit scores are lower and conventional is going to charge you double the mortgage insurance, then do an FHA to save your money on the payment. And then once you get your credit scores in order, then refinance. Or once you have there's different ways to look at it. Some people will say, well, you want to do a conventional loan because FHA has the mortgage insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Conventional is actually higher mortgage insurance if your credit scores are lower than FHA is, but you can drop it after 20% equity. So there's different strategies to do it.
Again, I'm just going to keep on rolling.
She's good at this.
She's really good at this. We're just here for the ambiance.
2,000 times.
Jason says, how hard is it for a Canadian to buy a home in the USA or Las Vegas? Great question. We have a lot of people who are trying to relocate to the US, and especially Las Vegas. This one I love when you answer, because I didn't even know until last year that people from the outside of the US could do this.
In fact, Canada, so we have a Canadian loan in the US. So we can use it. We can look at your Canada credit, your Canada income.
Wow.
You're buying this as a second home, and we're going to do the loan based off that information. Or you can get if you're moving here permanently, you're going to pull a Social Security card, then I'll always kind of help you to see how to establish credit so you could do a regular loan. Because the Canadian loans, you're going to have to put down a little bit more money.
Yeah. What about someone who doesn't live in Canada but lives somewhere else, wants to come in, doesn't have credit established?
So, but they're coming into the US.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, most of the time I'll talk to you about establishing credit.
Yeah.
First, if you have your Social Security number, then I'm going to tell you how to go and apply for credit cards. After 6 months after having a credit card and keeping the balances decent, you should have really good credit. It usually takes about 6 months.
Oh, I had a subscriber several years ago, moved from Germany, who talked about the problems buying a place because he came from Germany. He had no credit score.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He said he was on like a 2-year plan.
Yeah.
That's what he told me.
He didn't speak to Amber clearly.
No, I just met him. I was out and about around town. He
Uh-huh.
recognized me. We started chatting. So 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months. In fact, there was a client we closed not that long ago.
Yep. Just did that. Yeah.
He might be watching us today.
I hope so. Let us know.
But he came here from a different country, and then I had him set up on how to do the credit cards, and 6 months later he was in a house.
Jeez.
So
Amber's a queen.
Mhm.
Okay, this one I thought was interesting. This is Wayne saying, if two people buy the home, that $4,500 grant, does that mean they get 9,000, like they can double it, or is it per
house.
transaction per house?
That's
right?
a good thought.
It's a really
though.
good
I like the way
question.
you think,
Yeah.
but that's per. In fact, that grant used to be $9,000, and right when I was getting ready to close somebody, they pulled it and made it 4,500, but they had to honor it. But so they made it 4,500, but it's available to more people now because they lowered it.
Got it.
Mhm.
Okay, this one's really good. I don't know how to say your name. Elihu who says, is it possible to buy a home that is not associated with an HOA in any way, shape, or form? Yes, absolutely. There's actually quite a few neighborhoods in town that don't have HOAs. They're usually older homes. A couple of new home communities are doing it without an HOA. I will be very real with you though. Like we're about 89% HOA here in Las Vegas, maybe 85%. I got to look at the numbers. So a lot of people though, I think get confused or get concerned because they're bringing the experience of HOA from like California, where I hear they're kind of yucky and not easy to deal with. It's not really that bad here in Vegas. They're not up your butt trying to get in your way, measuring your grass to see if it's an inch tall. It's more homeowner focused, and a lot of people are super involved. There's a couple neighborhoods that will give you the, you sure you want to go there? But not because the HOA is kind of funky, but for the most part, they're pretty chill, honestly. So good question though. This was a good one that says it's rumored rates will drop when the new president goes into office. How true is that? And if rates do drop, how are we going to see? It seems crazy to tell somebody today that 6 to 7% is a good rate. What are your thoughts on that?
I know, huh? Our perception is always that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of rumors out there that rates are going to drop. I mean, they can't say that it's attached to the president, even though, we all kind of see what happens, because the feds are supposed to work independently.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fed controls a lot of the interest rates based off of policy, and that has to do with like inflation and stuff like that. But we've gone like this over the past couple of years because of inflation, and then now it looks like we hit the peak and we're going to start heading that direction. My personal opinion is I don't know that we'll see it go too fast, and you guys can tell me if you agree or don't agree.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be a gradual. Like I agree,
because if it goes too fast, we're just going to run into inflation problems again.
Yeah,
and then we'll have to be, repeating what we just went through the last couple of years.
One of the things that I think is important, I think I've talked to you about this before, Jacob, how like 2 years ago when we had lower rates, I know it seems like 6 to 7% is like super duper high.
At one point we were talking 8 though.
Right, and 11. And P.S. when our parents bought houses, they were paying 30%. So.
Jimmy Carter years.
Listen, my parents were alive then. Yes, so Jimmy Carter years.
They were alive then.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. How old am I?
Yeah, compared to a few years ago, people getting 3%. Like 6 or 7 looks insane compared to that.
Yeah, so it's been weird, but we used to talk about how everybody was on a sugar high from the COVID free money.
COVID was free money, but really, if you want to look at it, like so, rates were always kind of where we are right now, and then we went through the downturn. So like 2008 happened. And they had to re-stimulate the economy from all that crap that happened. I mean, I had to live through it. You had to live through it too. I barely
lived through it, but we're here.
We went through about 12 years of really good rates. COVID was like the icing on the cake because it got down to 2s, but it was like 3s and 4s for a really long time.
Yeah. So like when it comes to those rates, when we do start to see it slip down a little bit, because we have that low inventory number we were talking about, we will likely see what happened last couple years ago, where we started seeing people pull mattress money out to like overpay and outbid each other and all that to try to get the house that they want. So when Amber and I are talking about like, try to get out there, and if you're thinking about buying and you really do want to buy, and try to get out there before the rates do drop and find the home that you want, utilize this opportunity in the low or gray zone to where you can actually negotiate and you can sleep on it before making a decision, things like that. Because once the rates do start to slip down a little bit, we will see a shift and that will change a little bit.
It's said that there's like 4 to 6 million people on the sideline just waiting because, honestly, maybe they can't qualify right now, or something like that. So just waiting. So once rates hit the 5s, that's like the new 3. Yeah. Once it hits the
5
4s,
is the new
like
3.
The new 2.
You know what? That's how we feel it clothing sizes as well. 5 is the new 3. That's where we're at. This is a really good question too. Mr. J says, hospital bills are affecting my credit. Can they be overlooked for buying a house?
Oh yeah. Well, there's 2 things to this question. So when you're looking at credit, medical on credit, we're not going to count that against you as far as like, we don't have to count a payment against that as far as debt to income ratio because it's medical, right? But it does affect your credit score rating, which then could affect your house. So, but there are a few of the collection companies that are out there that they will delete if you call them and you negotiate with them. So like, it's a matter of seeing which ones are on there, or if they're older, maybe you could just reestablish new credit and just forget about that stuff
Nice.
because it's not going to be counted against you.
Freaking genius, man. I love you so
geez.
much. God, I love you. Let's see. This is Jim says, aloha. Aloha. I currently live in Hawaii and I don't want to sell my place that was secured with a VA loan. How would I go about purchasing a second home loan wise in Nevada? Looking to move there. Hope you call us because that's awesome. We've focused on
Yes.
relocation. This is a good question. So if you don't want it, you can't use the VA loan if it's not a primary residence. Is that right?
Okay, so it depends on how you're going to move here. So VA loan, I wouldn't sell your current house because it's probably on a super low rate and you can gain a lot of money in Hawaii on rents, I would imagine. So like, but VA loan, a lot of veterans don't realize that you could do 2 VA loans. You do have to occupy the new place. So if you turn that one into a rental and then you move out here to Vegas, and remember, moving out here means that you're going to be here 51% of the time. So if you have a job that you have to be there 2 days a week, but you're going to be in Vegas 5 days a week, then that's a letter of explanation to prove that you've been here 51% of the time, right? And you could do 2 VA loans as long as you fit within the VA at 100%, as long as you fit within the VA, like the VA balance that you could do. Or you do it if you go over that county limit. That's what I was trying to say. I couldn't
The
think of
county
the word.
limit.
If you go over the county limit, then you have to, then there's a small down payment or a bigger down payment depending on how much you are. So I could do the calculations for you is the long.
So it's
the
doable.
long way to answer that.
So
Yeah.
it is possible, correct?
It's definitely possible. It just depends on how you're going to move here. If it's going to be a second home, no, it can't be VA. But if it's going to be a primary house because your job will allow it or you're retiring or something like that, then you can do 2 VA loans.
I love that.
Mhm.
Another one, Paula says, what if I want to relocate from another state like New Mexico? We love that. Please do. Grant programs still work. And a lot of the stuff that we're talking about actually applies to you. And our team, I don't know if you know that, but this dream team actually specializes in relocation. We do like 99% relocation. This is why we do what we do on our channels. And we want to communicate with you guys with our content is because we know relocating is really, really difficult and scary. So we want to be able to help you and help you land softly in the beautiful bed of Las Vegas, our neon hometown. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Jacob, there's a lot of love for you here. This one says Midwest Skater. Hey, Jacob, big fan of your channel. Question for the realtors. This guy's awesome. I'm a veteran. Thank you for your service, both of you guys. And I have good credit. Is the townhome a good investment in Vegas? I mean, I could answer that, but what do you think?
I mean,
Townhome versus house versus condo?
Why? Any investment's always going to be based on the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, depending on how much you can get for it for rent versus how much it's going to cost you when you buy.
Mhm.
Because, I mean, when you buy it, that's when shoot, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I read that, I don't know.
10, 12, 20 years ago?
Yeah, something like that, right? That's the thing, right? You actually make money when you make the money when you buy.
Yeah.
So if you can get it at a price that fits for you and
Yeah.
it works well and the numbers work out well, then certainly it can be. But,
Yeah.
I mean,
one of the things we do for you when you're thinking about investing, even when you're buying a home, actually, we run a lot of numbers and we really try to keep you in the mindset of it being an investment. I know a lot of people are like, this is my dream home. I'm going to live here. Great. But 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 2 years from now, something could change. So we want you to always be thinking about it is as an investment, period, end of story. The rest of it is nice icing on the cake.
Mhm.
So what we'll do is we'll look at rental comps in the area for you. We'll run reports to showcase what your possibility for resale value is. We look at a lot of what's happening around that area. We try to help you focus on what's going to be the best profit center for you whenever you do decide to do something with this investment of yours. So townhomes are a little bit in between the condo and the single family home. Obviously you own the land as well as the home. Condo, I don't know if you know this, but you only own what's inside the walls. And then a home, obviously the land as well as the home. So we do like townhomes better than condos for investments, but it's all dependent on how you're planning to use it. And again, like Jacob said, like the numbers. So yeah, but yes, anything you invest in, as long as you run the numbers correctly and do it right up front, of course it's a good investment, right? And thanks for having a good credit score. That helps things too.
Yeah. And thanks for your service.
All righty. Let's keep going here. You guys are awesome. Okay. This is G. Wilson is asking, is $450,000 a reasonable price for Piccoli Ranch? 1,700 square foot, nice house, nice yard. I'm 450 is probably a little bit below. There might be a couple of them in there. There'll probably be a little bit of an older home. You might have to do some upgrades, maybe replace the floors or the cabinets, things like that. I would say closer to 5. Piccoli Ranch is right near Summerlin, so it definitely has a little bit of the runoff of the inflated prices for that area because it is the most popular community in town.
Piccoli Ranch, good choice though.
Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful
It's a
area.
nice area.
Is just single family homes, or can I get a manufactured home and mobile homes with these free grant programs, or in general?
Some of them you can do manufactured home, mobile home. So when you're talking manufactured, it has to be converted to real property. So if it's something that you could pick up and move, that's not something that you can get financing on a mortgage loan for it. So just kind of keep that in mind.
Good question, though.
Mm-hmm.
Tyson says, you said earlier that rates change by the day. Does the rate you buy at stay the same throughout your loan? Good question.
Yeah, I know you guys are so smart. So, okay, the rates change sometimes. Like today, I've gotten 3 rate changes throughout the day. That's so depending on what the markets are doing, what kind of news is coming out. Today, it was for the better. So I like those kind of rate changes. But when you go into contract on a house, you're going to then decide either to lock the loan right when you go into contract, or you might want to write it out for that 30 days in contract. If you're like a gambler and you want to just see what the market's doing, more people are writing it out these days, like right now, because of what they're saying on the news and stuff like that. So once you lock the loan in and then you close, most people are doing a 30-year fix. So your rate is the same throughout the life of the loan. You have options out there that are called ARM loans, adjustable rate mortgages.
I'm not a fan. I'm like, ugh.
I know those got scary during the downturn because a lot of people got hurt by those, but there are options where you can do like a rate that's fixed for just a period of time and then it adjusts after that.
Right.
Most people, like 99% of people, do the 30-year fixes because honestly, the rates are the same as the adjustable rates right now. So
love that. Let's see. We've got a lot of really good questions coming in. Just in case you guys are just tuning in, we did some really awesome stuff talking about free money programs. So obviously you can rewind and watch, or you can watch again. We'll probably cover it again in a few minutes if you want, just in case there's new followers. But this is a good question. We get this a lot. What if my only income is SSI? How do I become a first-time homeowner? I know a lot of people who are on SSI. We've worked with a lot of people to put them on game plans, things like that. It's all dependent on your individual situation. But what are other programs that can help?
You can buy a house under just SSI income. So your income, we're going to allow some of that income to be able to pay for all your other bills. So you're going to qualify based off what your income is. And keep in mind, when you're only on SSI income, most of the time that income is non-taxable. And so I can add usually 25% to whatever your monthly income comes in because you're not paying taxes on it.
That's nice.
It depends on the type of SSI, like disability is not all, like, so it depends on like, and then if you have other incomes coming in, but if you're only on SSI, then most of the time I can do that 25% adjustment in your income.
See? Yes is the answer here. It's never, we don't like no. We don't like the answer.
We don't like no. We're going to tell you how. Never know.
I want to shout out Shanta. Shanta, you are amazing. Is she one of your moderators? She's amazing. She's been answering questions. Thank you, Shanta. I hope I'm saying it right. You are amazing. Thank you for your help.
Look at you.
She's dropping it. I need to send you a gift card or something.
She handles it all.
She's clearly amazing. Like, can you be my moderator too? God dang, this is awesome. Also, just a little bit of love here for Jacob. It says, "What's up, Jacob? Love the videos." You all love the videos.
Thank you, guys.
All right, let's go here. How about this one? Any grant programs for seniors?
Good one.
Really good question.
Lots of snowbirds and retirees here.
Yes.
There is.
No state income tax, good weather, kind of well.
Low property tax, all of it. Yeah.
So there's no age restriction for grants. We can't even like look at that, to be honest with you. So like I've actually done a loan for somebody who was 93 years old. Somebody that came from California just recently. She was 79 years old. She just bought her first house.
Oh my God.
On a grant. She was the cutest thing ever. But like, yes, there's no age restrictions for any of these programs we're talking about, or any program that we'll ever talk about.
And none of them are a minimum age, like 15 above, 65 and older, anything like that.
No, I don't think so.
Not for programs, for specific properties that you buy, like the 55-year-old communities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those will have it in the HOA, but not for the loan programs.
Because it's just not allowed, because that could be considered.
I mean, I wish there was special grants for a certain age,
nice.
because that would be nice to be helpful. Like when, but because they can't discriminate for age, then that's why you can't.
I love it.
You could do anything that's out there.
First of all, Michael says, I go through Guild Mortgage and they're very good to work with. So thank you for the confirmation. Please go through her at Guild Mortgage. She's pretty awesome. Puff and Huff says, I'm trying to move to Vegas from California, but I got to convince my girlfriend first. You get her on the phone with me. I will convince your girlfriend. Trust me. Come on in town. I'll show you all a good time.
It's a cool place to live.
Thank you. Alex, thoughts on the upcoming rate cuts? We talked a little bit about that. I think we'll continue to talk through it. It's definitely going to be, it's going to make some shifts in our market, and it's going to be interesting, but it still makes it possible to buy a house. It's just going to bring a lot more people into the market.
Exactly. So just keep in mind on the rate cuts. So everybody's hearing on the news, there's rate cuts in September, there's rate cuts in September. Keep in mind those rate cuts are short-term loans. So they're credit cards, car loans, stuff like that. But the perception of those and the economic news that's released in order to lead to those cuts are what affects our long-term rate. So a lot of that cut that's going to be happening is already been happening.
Right.
So that's why we're seeing rates go down. And then depending on what the Fed says on that special day of September 18th, we should do a live that day.
I don't know about that.
Watch the chaos.
Yeah. We're like, the sky is falling. Like there's papers flying behind us.
How many
Yeah.
updates you're gonna get of different rate changes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when they get to that date where they actually cut the rates, like there's been a lot of speculation they're going to cut it a half, and then lately I'm hearing a quarter. So if it's only a quarter, then you might see the market pull back because they're expecting a half.
Just a frenzy.
Yeah, we don't have
I've seen people in my comment section, my videos in recent months, like, well, I'm waiting for rates to go down. I'm like,
good luck.
well, it's just, yeah, it's always supply and demand.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of people that are waiting for it to go down. So I'm curious to see what happens when it goes down, whatever amount that is, how many people jump in.
Right.
And when that demand to buy goes up, what impact it has on prices.
It's going to be
Yeah.
interesting. Genuinely, the best thing you can do though is please talk to us sooner rather than later. Even if it's 10 years from now, or you don't even know if you want to move, like there's a number at the bottom of the screen. There's a link in the description. We really do want to help. We've kind of partnered up with Jacob because we kind of have the same sense we know a lot of people want to move here. We want to get good information out. So thank you for letting us, go live on your channel today, because it's about to shift and we want to make sure people aren't sitting and waiting too long. Right. And also that you just have the information to make a good decision.
What's the longest gap you've had from someone contacted you to buy? Isn't it 6 years?
Actually 6 years. Yeah. 6 years. Yeah. So we really mean it when we say we don't mind if it's 10 years from now. I've had someone who just bought their house that was one of my first followers. Yeah. It's crazy.
6 years ago.
6 years, 27 months. This is a good one. When you have a couple who wants to buy a home, one person has significantly better credit. Do you use both scores or just the better one?
So if we have to use both incomes, so if both couples are like attributing or contributing to the household income and we need that to debt ratio, we're going to pull 3 credit scores on each one and use the middle credit score, the lower of the 2 middle FICO scores.
Love that.
So
Say it again.
I know I was thinking I'm probably confused
Yeah,
about
about the
that, didn't I?
credit score, because you said
income and credit.
You take
So
both
like
incomes
if I
and both
don't
credit
need
scores.
both incomes and one's lower and that's the person I don't need their income, then we'll only put the one person on the loan.
Got it.
And the
Because
one
then you're going to
person's
get a
credit
better
score.
rate because then we can use the higher credit score.
So if you need to count my income, I have to be included in the loan, and then that will have to
And then
use
I
my
have to use the
score.
credit score.
Got it.
Yeah.
So it could be either or.
It could be either or.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's the thing, just to work the game plan, just sort of to figure out like, okay, we're going to leave, this person off the loan and put just this person on because then you get a better rate this way, and then, but both people can be put on title.
All right.
Awesome.
You just have to sit down and run the numbers.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
She'll run all the numbers for you.
Mhm.
Great question. This is one, and then after this question, we're gonna jump over. Let's just talk a little bit about the programs again, in case people who tuned in missed it. Just run through them. Laci, do you manage investment properties for clients? Hi, Scott. Thanks for asking. I don't personally ever want to do property management. I don't think it sounds fun at all. In fact,
I like how honest you are there.
I'm just going to be very real with you. I think I have a lot of respect for people who choose to do that. And I think it's a really cool thing. So what I've done instead is I found a couple of companies in town who I've thoroughly vetted and I believe in. So I would happily connect you with one of them. I don't even make money on it. I just want to make sure you find someone good. So please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help you. No, I do not. And I never will. That's a whole nother license too. Like, no, thank you. I'm good. I don't want to know when your water heater breaks. I really don't. So
It's another kind of life too.
it really is.
It
So
really
no.
is.
All right, real quick, we're going to run through these. We don't have to go all the details, but I just want to show you guys. These are just 3 programs that we talk about free money programs all the time on our channels.
We love free money
consistently. We
programs.
like free money. We do like the free money. So let me add this. So let's run through these really quickly. So this one, the first one, Home is Possible. This one gives you up to 3 to 5% of down payment assistance. Am I right?
It gives you 2 to
2 to
5%.
5%. Got it.
On it. Home is Possible actually has a lot of programs too, different programs, but we'll talk about those a different day. But as far as down payment assistance, 2 to 5% On this particular one that I pulled, it's for first time home buyer. The reason why I pulled this today is because we were looking for grants that offer you the cheapest rate out there. Because sometimes you pay rate to be able to get a grant. And if you're a first time home buyer and you fit into these income restrictions on the Home as Possible first time home buyer program, the rate's not bad.
Yeah.
Like it's not bad.
Love that.
For it.
The next one we were talking about earlier was 2 programs that you pinched together, right?
Yeah, this is the Amber pinching of them together to find 2 different fun things to do. So so conventional loans, typically you pay 0.5% higher in rate on conventional compared to FHA, right? But then there's benefits to conventional. So the community program that I pulled, the rate blows any other conventional loan. And it's even like similar or lower than the FHA rate.
Sorry.
What?
Nothing. Oh, go ahead.
What did I
tell you in a
do?
minute? No, nothing. You're so on a roll right now. And I caught his eye and then I started laughing. That's my fault. I'm sorry.
Are you guys like having? Okay.
No, don't look at me.
And then there's a grant program out there that I just wanted to make sure that everybody's aware of. There's a $4,500 grant that's available for minorities. And it's forgivable after 3 years. There's no payment on it monthly. So this one, you can get the low rate on it. Plus we can add that $4,500 grant to it to be able to like save you in payments.
Love.
And still get money.
And then the last one we talked about, which is my favorite, is the 0 down payment program. 0 down payment program. Like free.
Yeah.
You talk about free money. That's free money.
This one's fun because most of the time people, when they go to qualify for a grant, they're like, it's so hard to qualify because there's so many little boxes you get to fit into, right? But this one, there's not all those boxes that you have to fit into. In fact, it opens up a different world. Are you bored?
We can tell that this is a hard.
It's got up early. Went to bed late. Boom, got up early.
Listen, this is not real exciting stuff we're talking about, so it's okay. We're just giving you crap. So anyway, so again, back to this. These are like free money programs that Amber has in her back pocket, but these are only 3. These are like a little taste of
There's
what's actually
many.
possible.
Yeah.
So I think the real focus for us is just making you believe and understand that there is hope. If you've been renting your whole life, super grateful for Jacob to, let us have a little bit of access to a bigger audience today, because it's important that knowing that a lot of people are moving to Vegas and a lot of them are doing it blindly. And this is literally what we do daily. We try to help people land softly, have the education needed. We do relocation clientele 99% of the time. So want to help you realize you don't have to rent, because rent's on the rise. It's like the most expensive I've ever seen rent right now in Las Vegas. It's crazy. So if you want to buy, no pressure, but if you want to, we want to be here for you. Okay, thank you, Amber. Sorry for cutting into there with the laugh. Jackie said, my husband and I have been researching homes in Las Vegas. We currently live in Illinois. They purchased it before 2012 or in 2012. The house is paid off, but we're concerned about affordability if we sell and relocate to Las Vegas. Have you done, you do really good videos about like cost of living and things like that. Have you done one of those recently? I haven't seen.
No, but it would depend where in Illinois. I mean,
Yeah.
if you like, are you in downtown Chicago? Are you like right outside in Schaumburg, or are you, like Decatur or something? Are you way out rural Illinois? Just
How do you know so many cities in
I'm
Illinois?
like-
Where are you from?
I
What's
think we
going
could
on?
ask Jacob any question.
I
he
know
would
you're
We
like a
should try that.
database. This is crazy.
Like a human encyclopedia, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, hey,
What's their population? Hold on, let me see if you got that. I know you know it.
what, Chicago?
Yeah.
The Chicago area. What's it? 3rd biggest city. Metro area.
This freaking
Yeah,
guy.
like 3 or 4 million.
Jeez Louise. Anyway, even if it's not right, I still think you're
Yeah.
amazing.
But it depends. I mean, it's going to depend where you're coming from. Like I said, I moved here from California, but
Yeah.
I can tell you, people say, "Oh, California's expensive." Well, it depends on what part you're living in. Because
Yeah.
some parts of California, the cost of living is similar to Las Vegas, but other parts you're going to be paying double for rent or house or
Yeah.
whatever it is. So, it depends on what your cost is there right now versus
Right.
what's
Yeah.
going to be here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's all perception, right? And your own personal experience. How about this, Jackie? There's a number at the bottom of the screen, also a link in the description. If you want to chat, we're happy to run the numbers and kind of look more individually at what you've got going on. But thanks for thinking of Vegas. We love it. And thanks for tuning in. All right, let's see. We've got, this is a good one. Michael says, when can you refinance your loan through Guild Mortgage on a home? So after I buy my house and I close, let's say I get my keys yesterday. How quickly can I refi?
So it depends on what type of loan you did. So FHA likes to see that you've made 6 months payments in order to refinance. Conventional likes to see it, but they don't hold you to it. So you can refinance whenever you see rates are lower.
Nice.
Mhm.
And can you talk a little bit about costs to refinance? Sometimes is that okay to bring up? I don't even know the answer to the
Yeah,
question.
well, so FHA streamlines. So like if you have an FHA loan and you want to refinance, right? The streamline, there's not much cost to it. So
Awesome.
pretty much you come in with And this is if you're not taking any cash out, you just have a higher rate and you're lowering your rate down, right? There's really not a lot of qualifying to it too, because we don't have to order an appraisal. There's a lot of things that we don't have to look at, and you're going to come in with usually equivalent to 1 month's payment, but then you skip a month. So it's kind of like a wash.
That's kind of cool.
Mhm.
All right. Look
Mhm.
at that. Matt Smith, we are lucky here in the US. We get fixed rates. In Canada, I believe the rates are only adjustable.
I've heard that in most European
That's-
places
ugh.
that they're adjustable.
No wonder so many are coming to our
Mhm.
country. I love this. Jacob, someone's asking, have you done a report on the roulette wheel at the Apache Casino cheating people? This is a different thing, but I figure I'd let him ask the question.
The cheating people?
It can't be. How much worse could it be than
Then-
all the ones who hide with a logo, who hide the 000 with a logo?
Oh my God. Yeah, you were telling me about that recently. That's crazy. Are you doing any more of those videos coming up?
I'm going to find ways to work in a variety of things. You know that.
This man is on the hunt to make sure everything's exposed. I love it.
all kinds of notes
You're
for
gonna
all
keep
sorts
Vegas
of stuff.
honest,
all
right?
sorts of stuff around this area.
I love that. I love that. I love all your videos. It's been cool seeing it.
E Phoenix,
Phoenix
longtime follower.
says he says we're looking good. Thank you. I'm pretty sure that I think we picked a nice group of folks today.
He's in New York, man. At some point, you got to get out of that cold weather and high taxes and come
Yes, you
move
do.
to sunny
Please.
weather and lower taxes.
And also look who's here. Olivia Carr. Hello, longtime follower for you and for me. First
Yeah.
you, but then me.
Hi, Olivia.
Hi, Olivia. How's those babies? We love you. Okay, let's see here. Oh, here's a good one. Jason, with that being said, would Canadians or foreigners, that always sounds so negative, qualify for these grants that we speak of?
No, so these ones you have to have a social security. So you can't do foreign national or Canadian. Canadians consider Canadian foreign national or regular foreign national. You can't do those on the grants. But if you come here and decide to get a social and then you establish a credit card to establish credit in 6 months, then you can qualify for a grant.
Awesome. Someone's saying they're trying to text the phone number at the bottom of the screen and it won't receive texts.
Is your phone getting
My
blown
phone's
up?
blowing up right now, so I could try it again. And if not, there's a link in the description. So just do us a favor, just find the description and click the link. It'll take you to a form. We'll be in touch soon. But sorry about that. Yeah, it's my butt's been buzzing this entire time. I'm actually it feels like massage. It's actually kind of nice. Thank you guys for those of you that are reaching out. We will be in touch, and I'm super excited to chat with you. Shanta is the best. I'm gonna tell her right now. Put her up here. Welcome everyone. If you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel, the ultimate 411 on all things Vegas. And she's adorable. Look how cute she is. Hey Shanta, let's hang out when you come in town. Does she live here?
Thank you, Shanta. No, she's actually in the Bay Area, right?
Girl, come out here. Let's hang out. She's gorgeous.
I need a
super
Shanta in my life.
Oh.
Like just keeping it straight, right?
This says, thank you, very helpful. Will be primary due to work transfer? Oh, I thought that was a question.
Perfect.
That's perfect.
I think that was a VA.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
This is another VA question. Let's talk about the VA still. So you're saying you can have 2 loans. Can you explain that limit part? What did you mean?
So every county has a VA limit. If you're buying your first house VA, then the limit goes away because you can buy like the last one I closed was like 1.4 million, 100% financing on VA. You could do that
Wow.
VA, but if you stack your VA, so if you have a house here and a house here, then you're held to the county limit. So
It just depends.
Yeah.
It's going to be individualized, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what it is here off the top of your head?
Well, 760, it's like changed though. So I didn't look at, I think it's like 766 and some change right now.
766,000
And some change.
And some change.
So,
Good.
so
I remember when it was like 4 something.
So
Is that
like,
really
yeah,
how high
like
it is?
one client that we were just doing right now, he had a house in like wherever he was stationed last, right? So he had a $350,000 loan on that house. So then here he had over 400,000 left to be able to get the VA. And because he wanted to go over the 400,000, then he just had to pay a small down payment because he didn't go over by much.
Got
So
it.
there's a calculation to figure out all that.
Good answer. See, you're like a database too. I'm just here for this. Hey, Janice, saying hi to you. Go ahead. I just want to say hi.
Hello. Amber, didn't you grow up in a military family?
I did. I was actually born on Nellis Air Force Base.
There you go. So she knows.
Thank you for your service.
That was my dad.
I
It was
know,
my
but I'm
dad.
just. This one says, finding grants in other states. What would you recommend?
I mean, just reach out to me. Like, so it depends on which state. Like most of the time you can Google to find out, but then a lot of times I could connect you with the right person out there that would
Mhm.
automatically know. Cause Google's going to give you all kinds of stuff.
David says, how beneficial, this is a great question, actually. How beneficial is a large down payment besides lower mortgage payment? Like the bigger down payment you give, what other benefits
You
come
do
from that?
get benefits. So if you're putting down like, let's say I just had a client that's recently doing 50% down. So his rate's much better than somebody that's doing 20% down.
Right.
And then you don't have the mortgage insurance. So to be honest with you, though, the rates are more, you're going to get more benefits by having higher FICO scores on the rates. You would think that someone who's putting 50% down has a lot more benefits than 20%. It was a benefit, but I would think it'd be more.
Yeah.
So not as much as I would have thought.
Do grants need to be paid back? Sometimes.
Sometimes it depends on which grant you're doing. Some of them are forgivable after 3 or 5 years, and some of them you have to pay back if you ever sell the house. Some of them you can subordinate. So like if you go to refinance your first mortgage, some of them you can like raise the grant up and then put it back down on title so that you don't have to touch the grant part, but you can get a lower rate on the first. So those are all things to look into with the market we're going into.
Doug's asking, where does Jacob see the next hotspot booming neighborhood in Las Vegas in the next few years? Just curious.
Jeez. Good question, because when I moved here over 10 years ago, there's neighborhoods now that didn't exist.
There's like streets that didn't exist. Yeah.
Now I think it's been just over 800,000 people have moved here since I did.
Yep.
And I mean, I remember when.
Dang.
Yeah, I remember when Blue Diamond or
Mountains Edge area.
Blue Diamond and
Fort Apache.
Yeah, but also in the Northwest. Was it Northwest community? Was it Centennial? We're like the two of the fastest, like they both made like top 20 fastest growing communities in the country. I've been putting in a video. And now we have Sky Canyon. That didn't exist.
And there's Sunstone, which is next to Sky Canyon, which you may not have even known. Did you know about Sunstone? Have you been up there?
I've not been up there yet.
Brand new. Yeah. Amazing.
So, I mean, Henderson was what, 240,000 when I moved here?
What year did you move here?
Cadence was just I did a video on Cadence.
I remember.
It was like just getting, they just had like the model homes. And I went out there, did a video like, I don't know, 8 years ago.
And it was dirt, nothing but dirt. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
city's growing.
The area in general is going to continue to expand. But I mean, a lot of it is going southwest. I mean, it's going southwest into the mountains. I mean, Summerlin's eventually going to hit their kind of cap because they're up against the mountains too.
Well, they claim they have 20 more years of construction left for Summerlin, but I've watched in the last 3 years. I think they've burned through 10 of that 20 in the last 3 years. So I think they're almost capped.
Northwest is going to continue to grow. North Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You got like
huge.
You're taking 215. You're going out like North Las Vegas towards Nellis Air Force Base, and you can see just miles and miles of desert and BLM land. Because every so often that'll get more of that will be available to the public for building homes. So North Las Vegas is going to continue to grow and push to basically we used to be wide open desert. It's going to keep growing and keep pushing that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we're even into like Sloan.
Yeah, Sloan in the southwest area, the south side of town. And then also we're getting close to Indian Springs is an area that's going to probably be connecting. Pahrumph's even growing pretty large. So
basically we're going to keep pushing all into the desert all the way up until up against all these mountains.
Yeah.
And then eventually go over that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of expanding everywhere.
And they're all hot neighborhoods because they're all going to be having the same amenities that you would want and need, creature comforts, all the things that you need. But everybody looks at the map of Las Vegas and assumes that it's like massive and it takes forever to get from one place to another because most are coming from California who they look at a map and this far on the map takes 2 hours. So right, good old 405. So it's exciting to like be able to express to people that like, hey, it's okay. People are like, I don't want to be more than 45 minutes from the strip. And I'm like, that's not even possible right now. Like, I don't even think that's possible. So one thing I just wanted to mention is like, if you do reach out to us, one of the things that we've done because we work with so many people who relocate is lifestyle is a huge focus for us when we help you decide where to live. So we've created like a self-guided city tour. So if you're coming to town to like do research or explore, you can follow that tour and get to know the areas that exactly that he just mentioned. So I do.
You're supposed to share that with me.
Well, I will after this. Sorry. I'm sorry. I used to do personalized tours. I called them the 3-hour tour, but I'm one human and that's not possible. So I put like 70,000 miles on my car in like 1 year. I was like, okay, well, we're just going to not do those anymore. But we do allow you to go at your own pace. So we've got some really good tools to help you with that research process to learn about these booming neighborhoods and actually go check them out. So you did good. I'm really impressed.
But hey,
did I think he was not going to do well? Come on, this guy. Let's see. Mario says, any good upcoming homes that are available or will be in Henderson? I hear Cadence is a good one.
Yeah.
You know what's been booming? I don't know if you've been out there lately. I don't know if you have either. Lake Las Vegas was once a retiree community, second home community, kind of for snowbirds. They've really
I
shifted
know. I
gears.
wish I would have
Yeah.
bought out there.
Me too, man.
Oh,
And they've also connected it to the city more. There's like multiple ways to get there. Lake Las Vegas is
Yeah.
kind of up and coming right now with a lot of new home opportunities, a
Yeah.
lot of good deals. Cadence is still very much booming. And then there's a new area right near Cadence in Henderson called Black Mountain that it's been there. There's a lot of homes that have already been there, but they're finding areas that they can build new home communities within there. So a lot of awesome stuff coming up in Henderson. We do a lot of new homes. So don't try to do the new home trek to learn what's out there on your own. We definitely can help you learn that and help you guys.
What's the thing with new homes? If you show up on this without an agent,
You cannot have an agent represent you. Yeah. And you don't want to do that, especially with an agent like me. Thank you very much. No, we do so much new home community work and we have great relationships that we actually have a little more negotiability. We are told about things before they hit the market to the public. So working with an agency or agents like us who have those relationships is super important. And you don't want to just go straight there. They're not going to give you a better deal because you don't have a realtor. And PS, it's like using the same divorce lawyer as your spouse that you're leaving.
Yeah,
it's like you
exactly.
don't have anybody looking out for you. So yeah, let's talk about that for sure. Good point. This is a really good one, and I'm glad you asked this, James. He's asking if we can touch on the new agent commission rule and how it's going to affect you. Happy to do it. It's definitely turned our industry upside down for no reason, in my opinion. What's happened, just in case you guys are watching, you don't know, is there was a lawsuit that occurred that, in the US that has now affected all real estate agents throughout the US, to where what we were already doing before is now a little bit more on the front side and more visible to everyone. So there's a lot more transparency in the negotiability of the deal. So essentially what it means is you as the buyer have to walk into a deal and a negotiation understanding that commission may, and this has always been the case, but commission may need to be paid by you for our services, or it could be paid by the seller. So really it's just more of, it's another negotiating piece of what we get to put into play to get you the best deal possible. A lot of agents are really scared of it because they think, it was easy to sell homes before. It really wasn't, but that's what everybody thinks, that it was just easy to sell homes and seller always paid and now I have to pay. There's always fees you have to pay. This is just now being more obvious on the front, and we just talk about it a lot more. So a lot of changes happening. It's not really affecting us yet, but I think if the only thing it might affect is if things change when the rates drop and we don't have a lot of inventory and there's a negotiation happening, you're going to want to have an agent who knows how to do structured deals and who knows how to make sure that you're being protected in that process, because a lot of agents are going to assume, well, sorry, it's a tough market and it's really competitive, so nobody's paying for buyer commission, so that means it's on you. It doesn't always have to be on you. You just have to work with an agent who knows how to properly structure a deal to make sure you don't pay as much as you might have had to otherwise. So I'm sure that was a mouthful that didn't make sense to anybody, but that's kind of what's going on. I do anticipate some changes continuing, but for right now, just find an agent that you trust, that you know has history and knows how to structure a deal. That's the bottom line. So that's it.
To be honest with you, the contracts that I'm having come in, there's because people have to, if you're selling a house, you're going to have to put it out there somewhere for other people to find. So I'm seeing contracts come in that it hasn't affected at all. I mean, but market to market. So
I love it. Thank you for asking. If you have other questions, I can do more of a deep dive, but don't be afraid of it is all I have to say. Work with an agent who's good at structuring a good deal.
Good at structuring.
That wasn't a plug, but I mean, I definitely know what we're doing.
But seriously, it's important. I think what it's going to do is take the people that don't know how to talk, which they don't know how to structure deals anyway.
Yeah.
It's going to kind of, unfortunately, put some of those out of business, but people like Miss Laci here will rise to the top.
We'll try.
So.
We'll see how we do. Call me in a year. No, I'm just kidding. Brian wants to know what's the average house price for 2,000 square feet in Hendersonville. Well, it's Henderson.
Hendersonville.
I do call it Hendertucky sometimes, just depending on which area.
When you move here, you'll hear that term, Hendertucky.
Yeah, it really depends. So a lot of people don't realize Henderson is really, really big. I did a 2-part series. I had to do 2 parts. I didn't think I would, but I did a 2-part series on Henderson to try to show you guys how much is actually out there. It's not just Henderson. It's Old Henderson, New Henderson, Inspirada, Anthem, Lake Las Vegas. So it depends on where you're looking. But I would say 500,000 is probably a good baseline for wanting about that many square feet. Definitely up in certain areas and maybe a little bit down in others. That's the most generic answer I've ever given.
It's over 300,000 people now.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's the second biggest city in the state.
I'm
Nuts.
gonna ask you some more things.
See, I'm telling you, he's a database. He's amazing.
I'm like, is it really?
North Las Vegas, I think, has more people now than Reno.
Does it?
Oh my
What's
God.
what's the population of North Las Vegas?
I think they're up to like 250, 260.
250,000, 260?
Yeah, don't quote me on it. But I remember when I moved here, it was like Vegas was the biggest, and then Reno was,
Mhm.
and then Henderson was like third, North Las Vegas was like fourth. But then I think it was a year or so ago, seeing like all three of the cities in Clark County have all passed Reno, and Reno's grown plenty too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Reno's
Yeah.
really boomed.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if like Northern California, you get out, you retire, you move out, you go to Reno. Southern California, you get out, you
And
move,
you
you
move to
retire,
Vegas.
you like come to the Las Vegas area.
I love it.
But no, the Vegas area has grown faster, even bigger than
Yeah.
Reno.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Still really hard to be 45 minutes away from the strip because it looks big, but it's not quite there. We will get there though. Like Sloan is
Plus, we
probably
don't
going to
have
be
the
a bit of a
snow.
drive. Yeah, we don't have snow.
Yeah.
All right.
the construction is probably the one thing that'll slow it down the most.
Woo,
Depending on what's
excuse
going on.
Easy.
Bless you.
Thank you. Michelle says we have an E3 visa from Australia, not a green card. Would we have any trouble getting a loan? Good credit score. They have credit
So
score.
with an E3 visa, I believe that's the work visa, right? So with the work visa, you'd have a social security number. And if that's if that's the one that like your employer kind of signs off for you, then you can still get a loan with that. You can
Cool.
still get a loan with that.
Good one. All right. I'm not sure.
And she can build. She said good credit score, so she can have a U.S. credit score with the work visa. before
Yeah,
she moves here.
you can have, so when you have a work visa, you can get a social with it,
Mhm.
but there's different categories of the visa. And I believe and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the E3 one is the one that your employer signs off on you to be able to be here. And that one I have closed people on as long as I'm thinking about the right visa.
Love it.
So
This one's DC says, how long after you sell your house and pay off all of your debt will it take for your credit to go up, and by how much?
So when your credit report, like credit cards report, usually once a month. So whenever your billing date is on that card, everybody's billing date is going to be different though. It's typically right when that billing date happens, then they report to the credit bureaus. So if you paid off all your debt and you had a lot of consumer debt, like a lot of credit cards and stuff, your credit's going to shoot huge. Like I've seen it move 100 points before, but if you have a lot of consumer debt and there was recent lates on the credit and then you paid off, it might not shoot up as much, but it'll still shoot up for you. And then time will heal the rest.
Nice. Like time, like 3 months, 6 months. Like it's not years. It's just
It
months,
depends on like
right?
how recent the lates are.
Got it.
You know, like 12 months, you're going to be doing fine, but it'll go up every month.
Awesome. Good question. Thank you, DeCardinelli. Jason, would Canadians wanting and hoping to buy qualify for these grants? We definitely touched on that a little bit ago, but these are you have to have a social security number, you said,
Yeah,
right?
these ones you have to have a social security number because they're usually straight FHA and conventional loans. Canadian loans are kind of outside the box loans.
In only 6 months, though, you can be eligible.
Mhm.
God,
That's
that's
amazing.
faster than I thought it was going to be if
Yeah.
you're moving here from another country.
So right when you get here, establish a credit card. Like
Or before you come, call us and let's get you dialed in
right when
so
you
we
get
can
a social, the next call you want to make is to one of the credit card companies.
Mr. J says if the minimum FICO score for grants is 600, for example, and you have a couple, one person has to have at least 600 or both need to have it. That's a good question.
That's a great question. Both need to be above 600 if we're using both incomes for the loan. But like if there's a spout, like if you're married, right? And one person has 600, but the other person's lower, but the other person doesn't work. I don't have to put the other person on the loan. I could just put it in the one. So, but if you're both going on it, you both have to have over 600 FICO score.
That's a good
You had the
question.
question earlier about whether one or both couples income and credit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, when you talk to her, like she'll help with the credit side.
Yeah.
Because I remember years ago you told me it's just the day they pull your credit is the day you need to have the high score. Like you don't have to have.
Oh yeah, because your credit is good for 90 to 120 days.
Right. So if
Uh-huh.
your score shoots up one day, then
That's when we want to pull
That's when we pull that credit.
she knows
One
that.
sixty day.
She told me that a couple of years ago. I was like, really? Like just on that one day, your score, you get it to jump for one day. Like that's the day you push? Because yeah, we're gonna pull it that day when it's the highest. So you get the best rate. Okay.
Amber is ranked number 166 in the nation for a reason. She's amazing. She's got
Aw,
awards all
thank
over. This is a good question. What are the typical property tax rates in Las Vegas? We get this question quite a bit when it comes to it's one of the reasons people move here actually, because we do have lower income tax or property tax rates. Will you walk through that? Because you way explain it better than me. I usually am always looking at the new homes and assessments, but when you're pulling it, you're pulling the taxes for that when you're qualifying for a loan as
Yeah,
well.
so I'm going to pull the tax assessor. So typically the older the house, the
Yeah.
cheaper the taxes, the newer the house, the more expensive the taxes. New houses, I usually calculate it like 0.90% of the purchase price.
But less than 1%.
Less
Let's just
than
say that so
1%.
everybody can hear that.
Fun facts I put in several videos in the past.
Yeah.
Depending on where you look, you might get some different results, but more often than not, where I see is Nevada ranks 4th lowest in property tax in the country.
Yep.
So most people know we have no state income tax. Most people don't know that our property tax is that low as well.
Huge selling point for people to come here. Yeah.
So
I
sorry.
love your fun facts.
They're
They're so good.
So for the newer homes, it's less, or
It's
typically
0.9. Yeah, but like, so I'll get some, like sometimes, so basically I'll go to the tax assessor when you give me a property address and just see how much the taxes are. You see them go really low. It depends on the year that the house was bought. And remember, like 2010 through 2008 through like 2015, the prices were really low.
Yeah.
So they can only raise the taxes so much per year. So you'll see like really low taxes during those years.
Yeah.
And anything before that, honestly. But
I had a client the other day said that they paid $26,000 a year in taxes just for their property tax. Like that's, I don't know, I think it was in California. It must have been California. Which they had a large
or
home,
like the
very
East
big home.
Coast is big too.
No, I think it was Northern California. 26,000 a year.
I could see Northern California. I could see New Jersey. I could see
It's
a handful of states.
like I mean, that's a $26,000 a year. So like, oh, I make $100,000 a year. Well, you sure as hell don't anymore. You're not if you're going to own a house. It's crazy.
So wait, who's the highest taxes?
Oh, look at you. I love that you're growing.
I'm like, he knows everything. We need to ask him.
The highest property tax in the country. I'm gonna guess it's one of those like northeast states, East Coast, northeast would be my guess, like a New Jersey,
maybe
or something
Connecticut or something
Yeah.
like one of the. I don't know. We'll see.
I think Pennsylvania be high too, though. Like, but yeah,
Well-
New Jersey seems like every time I look at the taxes, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, let's
geez, that's a house payment.
let me selfishly nerd out real quick.
Oh, I love it. All right,
you
please
love
do,
it.
by all means.
This is a good. I forgot where I read this several years ago, but I was researching taxes here in Nevada, and like if I remember right reading, it was like 82% of this state's like revenue comes from sales tax, which makes sense because of all the tourism, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why, like in some states, like Texas, where they have no state income tax, I think their property taxes are higher because they have to offset it. So states usually get money from there's like property tax, sales tax, or income tax.
Right.
Okay.
So Nevada, we got no income tax.
Right.
We got low property tax. The sales tax is high to make up for that. So you got 40 million tourists just coming to Vegas area every year, like that pays for it. That's why our sales tax is 8.38 or something percent.
Is that higher than the average?
Yeah.
Is
I
it?
mean, the hotel room tax like 13.38%. Like that's why these taxes and
That rate you're seeing online is not quite that rate. You're gonna dig in.
all those taxes and fees that people are paying when they're coming here on vacation are helping pay for the roads and everything you see and all that sort of thing here. So
I love that you selfishly nerd out, and I love that you just research tax stuff for fun. Like that's one of the reasons
it's kind
I
of
love
fun,
you.
but also for video because they're going to be moving here, they're living here, they want to know this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I love that.
Can I ask you one more nerd question?
Oh my god, I love this. Yes.
So the 13.1% that's paid by people, like staying in one of the hotels, is that the reason why we don't have state taxes? Because of all the taxes that the casinos collect for the residents. Is that one of the reasons?
Oh, that's just one tax that tourists
Mhm.
pay. But I mean, also here we pay fees, right? So when you have to work in the hospitality industry, you pay for work cards, and there's fees for all those. Whether you call it a fee or a tax, you're paying money to the government. When you register your car, there's fees. So certain things, there's no taxes on some things, or their taxes are low, but other areas,
We make up for it.
yeah, they're gonna have to get money somewhere, and
Yeah.
somehow. So it just kind of depends on where it's going to come from.
See,
I'll think of another nerd question.
oh, I love it. Do you have any thoughts on the advantages of renting and establishing residency in Vegas, then applying for grants? So I get this question a lot. Do you have a lot of people reach out to you about should I rent or should I buy? Or I know I do.
I get people say, "Hey, I'd like to rent for 6 months or a year first." I say, "Yeah, go
Yeah.
for it. Rent 6 months a year, learn the area where you might like, not." I mean, I know you've had people just one visit buy a home,
Yep,
like in
absolutely.
one visit, and others they want to rent for 6 months, a year more, and figure it out. Like whatever works for you.
I've had people buy a home without ever visiting Vegas and ever seeing the home. Like everything online.
Sight unseen.
Sight unseen and
Yes.
city unseen. So I'm like, well, you are braver than me, but then they love it. They worked it out. So one of the things I like to say is like he said, if you want to rent first, totally cool. It's less about applying for grants and more about determining the area of town, things like that. Our team is one of the very few teams in town that actually does help you find rental homes. We really want to make it's kind of our give back, because a lot of realtors just won't do it. They don't make a lot of money on it, just being very open. But we do it because we want to help you guys learn the area. We really do care about the fact that you're relocating. We want to make sure you don't find yourself in a bad spot and then bounce, and then it could have been a different experience. So if you are looking to rent or buy, please feel free to reach out, because I think that we can provide some insight for you. But yeah, 6 months to a year. It's usually a year lease that you're required to sign when you do rent, unless you want to pay a much higher rate. But we'll give you some guidance on that. We're never going to pressure you to buy. We only want you to buy if it's right for you and it's the right time. But we are going to pressure you to enjoy your life here. And so working with people who help you do that is important. So
yeah. And I would just add one thing to that. It depends on your job.
Yeah.
If you have a job that you have to, if you can't take it with you, like you don't work from home, then you're going to probably want to establish here, get a job.
Yeah.
Sometimes the job market seems like they don't like to hire when you live in another state.
Yeah.
Because it's so transient in some places. So then a lot of times you'd have to move here, get the job, and then start looking for a house.
Yeah.
So it depends.
Slice and dice it every way. We do have a lot of people that ask, what chicken or the egg? What do I do first? Getting here first is best. Obviously, it's really difficult to do that if you don't have all of that, the job and all of that lined up. So we've got some programs and some things and advice that we give to people to help kind of overcome that. So it's individualized. Let us know. But again, phone number on the bottom and a link in the description. Happy to help regardless of what you do. Seriously, it's our honor and pleasure. Alrighty. We've got Gabe. What if I'm 22 with little to no assets and credit history? Amber, what do we say to people like that?
Gabe, you only take 6 months to establish credit history. We can set you on a good game plan there, and you could use a grant program. I honestly bought my first house at 19. So you're behind the times. We got to get you in a house right now.
First of all, I just said we don't pressure you. Are you serious? She's like, you better get with it, honey.
Yeah. And people also got married at 13 back then.
Oh, okay. So I just put myself.
We just said we don't pressure you. We really do not pressure you, but you're behind the times.
For real though, it's no judge. It's all we're gonna do is help you to see how. I love it that you're 22 and you're already reaching out to figure out how. I love it.
I know you're probably going to cringe, but I love this comment so much. Jimmy said he's inspired by your abs and wants to cut down on calories to look more like you. So just had to throw that out there. We love his abs too. Trust me. I love his abs. Let's see. We've got lots and lots of really great comments. You guys have been awesome. I don't know how much longer you want to go, Jacob. So just let me know. We'll answer maybe do 3 more questions and then we'll see how we do. Okay. Leolo says, at what point do you think the advantages of grants are outweighed by the cost of renting? That's an interesting question.
It is an interesting question. So I'm a big believer in, I do this for a living, but I believe in home ownership almost because it's almost like a religion to me, because renting there's never anything that outweighs home ownership as far as when you're talking about rent, because when you buy a house, even if you buy it on a grant, you're working towards your future. So I look at things I have a hard time looking at today. I'm looking in 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And when I get to the point where I don't want to hustle as hard anymore, I don't want to have to then pay as much of a house payment either. When you're renting, you can never get out of that cycle. When you're buying, you could actually work harder, pay extra on your mortgage to be able to pay that down, pay it off, or utilize that equity to put you in a good position in the future. So it's a matter of looking at your future. And in that case, I'm never going to look at renting.
Right. Yeah. And again, renting is to me, I always think of renting as it gives you a chance to establish yourself in a new city, to understand what's the lay of the land, but it should never be the permanent solution. And if you've always rented and never thought about buying, again, there's not going to be pressure, right? We're not going to pressure them for being 19.
No pressure.
We do not
We're
pressure.
Just proud of you.
Yeah. But it's always just something to consider.
Were you married or single at 19 when you bought?
Married. I got married young. Yeah.
Okay. She was married young. Yeah. Jeez. Back in the day.
Back in the days. So Crate says, I'm late to the party. How did the grants work? I would love to go through them again. Definitely scroll back and rewatch. It's some great info, but the best thing to do is just reach out. There's a number at the bottom of the screen. We can walk you through it. But the good question they had here was, I'm disabled, collect disabilities. Does that factor into the application? I thought that was a good question.
Yeah. So you can count disability income. You can count that as your income. So as long as as long as it continues for 3 years. So like some of it's like temporary disability, some's like permanent disability. Permanent you can count, or if you have something that says it'll continue for more than 3 years, then we can count that as your income, and then we're going to work the numbers based off of what your debt ratios are based on that income.
You're amazing. I love you so
I
much.
love you too.
She's awesome. Okay, let's see here. There's a lot of great questions. We'll try to go through and actually reply to the comments a little later because we can't hit all of them, but we were going to do 3. I just wanted to put this out. Shout out to Jacob. Thanks for putting up great content, Jacob. Love that. The funny video. He said, do you think Las Vegas is still investable in terms of real estate? If so, what are the areas to look out for? Can I take this one?
Of course.
We talked a little bit about the up and coming areas in Las Vegas. I'm a big believer that everywhere in Vegas is great to invest, but it's about what your goals are. That's really the thing that we like to walk through when you reach out and talk to us. So we are very individualized. There's not a blanket statement ever. But if you want to learn more about the up and coming neighborhoods, we do provide a self-guided city tour and some more information. So let us know. Northwest has some incredible opportunities right now when it comes to getting a little more bang for your buck. It is growing rapidly and there's a lot of movement up there. Station Casinos is about to put a casino up there at some point, I think. And there's just a lot of growth. North Las Vegas, I think, is probably the biggest opportunity right now, as you mentioned earlier. Southwest, Henderson. It's like I always say it's like a glass of spilled milk. We're just like spreading out like all over the ground, wherever we can fit houses. So it's just about what you're trying to do for your goals and your lifestyle. If you're moving or if it's just an investment, we'll help you run the numbers. But hell yeah, it's still a good place to invest. I don't know.
Well, the area is not going to stop growing.
No.
Anytime soon. I mean, it's not as crazy now as it was during COVID, but I mean, when the largest county
There you go.
in America is, geez, what? About a 3.5 hour drive from here to LA County. There's 10 million people there. Fun fact. I living in California. People don't realize like how spread out the population is in some areas that are really rural. California is like 40 million people, and 10 million of them live in LA County.
Yeah.
So LA County, about 3.5 hour drive from here. So that 10 million by itself spills over to here, plus all the people who move from other parts of California, other countries. I was surprised when I moved here how many Midwest and East Coast transplants there are.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, so those of you moving from like Chicago area, Illinois, and like a lot of New Yorker, New
There's
Jersey.
always someone from New York here. They want to tell you the bagels is terrible, but they love it. Yes,
Yeah.
always.
So no, the growth is not going to stop anytime soon.
Yeah. Oh my God, there's so many great comments. I did want to say Matt Smith Googled it and New Jersey is the highest. So you got it right.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh my God. Also, you were correct, sir, when you said Texas property tax is surprisingly high. Booyah. Another really good one. Oh my gosh, this is sweet. Corbin, my 2 favorite Vegas creators on one stream. Shout out Laci and Jacob. Hi, Corbin. Oh my God, I feel seen. Thank you. All righty. Let's see. Sammy made a comment here. I think for people who have only been here on vacation, it's hard to view Vegas as a normal city. They see the money spent on the strip and crazy drunken behavior and assume that it's, crazy and gross. It's not. It's awesome off the strip. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's very different when you live here. And when you move here and live here for a while, you'll see it. You will look at Las Vegas differently, and it's you will have a dual perspective.
Yeah,
I'll put it like that. It's pretty cool because you can see both sides of it that just most people don't.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Sammy. Love you. She just bought her first home. Sammy was somebody who was following us for years, didn't think it was possible, had some trials and things to overcome, and just closed on her house in May of this year. So congrats. It's awesome. It's awesome. Okay. I'm just gonna give another stroke to my ego here. You guys are my favorite Vegas YouTubers. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. I know you're used to this, but I'm enjoying this for a minute. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Do you know anything about the NACA loan, or is that a
NACA loan?
NACA loan? Can you talk about that?
The NACA loan's really cool. It's only done through Bank of America, but it offers you a lower rate, 100% financing. It's just, from what I understand, very hard to qualify for, and the time frame of it is very long. So finding a seller that'd be willing to sell you a house when they know you're getting a NACA loan, because they know it's going to take a long time to qualify, might be a little hard. But if you can get it, it's a cool loan.
Awesome. I'd never even heard of it, probably because I've don't work with Bank of America a lot. Working with banks is really difficult sometimes when you're buying a house.
Mhm.
Working with a local lender is so much easier because they are boots on the ground in it. When you're working with a bank, you're often talking to somebody who doesn't even in Chicago or something that doesn't even live here, and they can kind of mess up a deal. I've had it happen a few times.
Yeah.
So good question though. Really, really good question. We've definitely skipped a few, but we got to a lot of them. So thank you everybody for commenting. I know we didn't answer everyone's questions, but just want to say thank you again to you for inviting us to do this on your
Yes.
channel today. And it seems like it was well received. Any closing thoughts, Jacob? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm good.
You're good. I do want to just remind you guys, we do want to be here to help you with your process of decision making when it comes to possibly moving to Vegas, or if you already live here, we want to help you kind of dream a bigger dream and maybe own a home someday. So feel free to reach out. There is a phone number. I'm always going to remind you. Also a link in the description. You'll speak to me when you set up the meeting. So happy to chat with you. And then if you are ready to talk numbers and game plan, we'll get you over to Amber and
Happy
work
to
that
talk
out.
with you too.
Yeah. And then maybe if you're lucky, we might bump into Jacob at a client event or something after you buy a house later in 2 years or something.
You're
But
like the celebrity.
you are the
everywhere you walk
celeb.
into.
Yeah. And he's got great abs from what I hear. I don't know. That's what I was told. So thank you guys again. Thank you, Amber, for your amazing knowledge. This was super helpful. I actually learned 3 things today and I'm embarrassed that I didn't know them, but I'm grateful for you. That's why I don't do the loans. I do the fun part. So
You're amazing at what you do.
thank you. Thanks again, Jacob.
Thank you for
You
having
good?
Thank you, ladies.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.